This is Overtime, a live series brought to you by Rig Links and War Room Media, where we talk about basically anything we want. And here are your hosts, Greg Williams and Ryan Ray.
Man. What's up?
How's it going, man?
It's going good.
I just want to say, I don't know if you had the picture of me with my bodacious sideburns and glasses and bow tie. I don't know.
Man, that was awesome. That's awesome. It's awesome.
What's funny is the only thing missing is I have a cane. It's actually I got the cane. It's right on the floor. I had a little cane. It was a Roaring 20s party, and so
your wife was holding the cigarette, so I almost put that in my mouth. I was okay. So I was like, that's going to be a bit much, but we'll see. Turned out all right, man.
Yeah. So it was good. That was a good night. So I saw that. That's hilarious.
No, it's fantastic. I had I worked on that. I said, okay, we'll have a little something special here for New Year's Eve. So
yeah, happy New Year's Eve. I guess it's still New Year's Eve wherever you may be.
Yeah, totally. No, it's definitely New Year's Eve. We today was a quiet day for just at a walk and kicking it around here, but putting together some stuff for tonight. I slipped a few Easter eggs in there on you. Some of those you didn't see coming, so those are always good.
I know. There's something that's coming up here in a little bit that I'm already kind of dreading that you sent over there in the rundown. And let me just say real quick.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if Ben Samuels is watching or not. I don't know, but you know, Greg, Ben Samuels the other day was like, "Hey, man, I want to do show prep," and I said, "Ben, it's really simple. Just send me the topics that you want to talk about, and we'll talk about them." And you would think that I was really hard to get the show together with, to do all that stuff, but I think you can attest, Greg, that you just send me topics and we just talk about it, right? It's that simple.
That's the way it works.
That's the way it works. Okay. Very good. And so so for Ben, this, if he's listening, it's just that simple. No magic here. Greg's just a genius, and he sends me over these points, and I try to, put down my Clone Wars and study.
I appreciate that, Ryan. I think genius is a very nice term that you put there, but I can promise you that I'm shy of being a genius. But
it's the last day.
I do like to be slightly prepared. Thanks for the tip there.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be drinking Jack this morning.
Well, I didn't say what's in my. This is my Hulk mug. It's a big mug. There's a lot of stuff.
I see that.
I got.
He's happy that it's the end of the year too.
Yes, he is. So I got this show, and then I got a podcast from 12 to like 2:30 or something like that. So to record, and then I got a live stream at 3 on China. So if I start with the Jack this early, I might not make it.
You'll be well sorted for the China one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
3 o'clock. Yeah. You'll be right. You'll be right.
Man, we got folks pouring in, Greg, and so and thank you, Cynthia, for acknowledging the cool mug. I appreciate that.
You put a whole nother name.
I gave her 2 names and 1 name, so it's still the first cup. So go easy on me this morning. But yeah.
So yeah, everybody, welcome to Overtime. This will be episode 5 here on New Year's Eve. Thanks for coming around and checking out mine and Ryan's little creation here. But just for everyone's attention here, Ryan, he no longer has them at the moment, but we'll be displaying some pretty fancy sideburns here in just a few minutes. And let's get into the show. So let me get over here and put the rundown up, Ryan. What do you think's on there? What Easter eggs do you think I've contacted?
Uh-oh. We lost you, Greg, or I lost you. Is it just me, or did Greg go away? There's Greg.
No, I'm back. That was a bit wild there.
Yeah, that was wild. You were saying something about Easter eggs, and
I was, man. I totally was going to put these Easter eggs up here for us, and we could talk about them real quick. But
let's go. That's all I heard. So sorry.
Yeah, it was. Apologies about that. Technical difficulties. Three jacks in. Here we go. All right. So there's our fabulous sideburns there, Ron. I figured I'd drop those in here on the.
That's great. That's great. That's great.
That is good. That is good.
So listen, I'll just say this. For whatever you think of that picture, there is a fantastic picture of me and a dolphin that I will bring out if for the right sponsor. So anyways.
You're right, Jose. I think China cut my feed there once I started talking about it. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, I can agree with that. I came back too fast. Yeah. I was going to have to reset the whole studio up.
Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering if it was just me or you or what or whatever. So,
all right.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead. Jump into it. What do you got?
Do you do a big New Year's Eve thing or
here?
Well, normally speaking, I know you're in like Fort Knox or somewhere, so you can't tell us. But just generally speaking, if you were wherever you normally are, well, okay. If you're at home, let's say, would you do the big firework production and campaign and all that?
Not typically. I mean, because I have I've got two boxers at home, and
okay,
they are not they're not firework proof at all. They when fireworks start hitting, they get gone. And when I say get gone, they get gone. And I mean, there's no. Yeah, they're not they're not going to be like a German Shepherd where they attack on command. They're gone.
I had a boxer when I was in high school, and so
they're good dogs, man. I mean, if
they're high school.
If there's somebody coming into the house that they don't know, or I mean, they'll let you know. I mean, they'll let you know what's going on outside. They'll even let you know whenever there's like children playing in the front on the sidewalk and everything else. But as far as fireworks, neither one of them have a bit of courage when it comes to fireworks. They're out 100%.
Makes sense.
So we'll go through our oil prices. Japan says there's going to be no more gas vehicles. So China at the 3.87 million barrels per day. I'm interested to hear Ryan's take on that. But since they cut my feed already, we know we're watching, so we'll have to give them credit for that. Easter egg 1, Walmart sore loser. Yeah, Easter egg. I like Easter eggs. J.J. Watt, he had a few nice words to say this past Sunday. So.
Listen, J.J. Watt's speech is what I thought Ben Samuel should hear, or anyone who complains regularly should hear. Like, get up and do your job and go get it.
Well,
so everyone knows, I love Ben. I'm just giving a hard time because he will, if he pops on here, he will be harassing me nonstop. So I've got to kind of get my throws in before Ben comes in and starts pounding me in the middle of something.
We'll also talk about Barstool Fund, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's fantastic, by the way.
Totally is, and I hope there's some small business owners there that's watching the show. Hello from Fort Worth. Yeah, you're in the good part, not Dallas. So
I'm right down in Granbury, so just even better. It's Fort Worth.
So fast. We'll talk about some. Oh yeah, the excessive force, Ryan. You shared that a few days back, and I think it's worthy to show all of our listeners around the world what actual real excessive force looks like. And fast food in Pompeii is pretty interesting. And we'll close out there with some Gil Gatto. So
I'm worried about that last one. I'm gonna take.
I hear you.
I'm gonna take. I know that I'm just letting listeners know I'm gonna take some abuse from Greg on Wonder Woman 84. So if you want to hear Ryan get abused on camera, Greg will abuse me for Wonder Woman 84. It's going to happen.
Well, I'll abuse you first for not even being able to say the name correctly, but I will say, that Ryan's iconic photo made my day today. So Ryan will grow these sideburns back for a sponsor.
Yes, I will. Listen, I can't speak today. I'm sorry. It's my third jack. So
You mixed Jack and coffee. That's pretty hard. That's better than straight Jack at 10 a.m.
No, I didn't do my vocal. You know, I'm a professional. I didn't do my vocal warm ups this morning, so the pipes are a little tight. They'll loosen
No
up.
vocal warm ups.
No vocal warm ups this morning, and so I'm calling people instead of Cynthia, or however I said it.
Here's a lady that was from Fort Worth. I can actually say her name. That's Alyssa with an A.
Howdy, Alyssa.
Not Alyssina.
Alyssina.
Yeah.
I swear, I think you and Ben, like when I'm not around, like y'all are conspiring against me some days.
No, man, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
I don't believe you.
Maybe I can get rid of this preview. All right, man. Oil prices.
We should just call
refresh.
We should just call this
refresh that.
This segment Ryan's blood pressure. Howdy, Alyssa. Good to have you this morning. If I could talk, that would be nice.
Here we go. 48.14 on the WTI and 51.36 on the Brent. Ryan, comments other than this big dip that we saw back there that went negative. What's the next?
You know, it's interesting. So if you look at any metric that I can think of, it's like, okay, you know, we're inflated. I keep saying the same thing every week. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm just going to change the narrative because I've been wrong for like a month now. So I'm just going to change the narrative. And if I continue to be wrong, then I'll be right for my previous narrative. So that's the strategy. I'm going to say what I don't believe in hopes that my previous thing that I do believe will come true, because what I do believe is not happening. I think oil's going to hit 70 tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. That's my new prediction. Oil will hit 70 tomorrow.
God damn. After seeing that post this week from Wyoming, I would say there's some people set to make some money.
Yeah, man. I don't know, Greg. I'm curious. You know, so you're in a different part of the world than me right now. What are you hearing about lockdowns and stuff? Because it feels like there was kind of more shutdowns and stuff, and they kind of went away. And I'm curious, are they waiting until after the tomorrow basically to kind of put that New Year lockdown in, or do you think those are kind of gone? Because that really kind of some of this.
Yeah, I left one off the rundown earlier, but it's the vaccine passport. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and if I can find the link, we'll talk about it. If we don't, then so be it. But it may take up a bit of time. But and the UK just announced their second lockdown, and you can only get out if you're an essential worker. So it's a full on. I think I got a message today from some people there. So, but I don't know. I think here where I am, there's no restrictions at the moment. I think I think it truly depends on each individual country standalone, because of the some people were very slow to come to the table, and some people did the lockdowns, and then the actual process that some of these countries put into place are actually more rigid than what the U.S. has. So depending on how people come in to the country would kind of determine how they do the lockdown, right? So,
right.
I mean, again, like I said, I dropped that stuff off about the virus passport, but I mean, we'll talk about that just briefly later on. But yeah, that's what I feel about it.
Yeah, well, I think, there was talk. I know in New York City was talking about maybe having some lockdowns after the new year. So we'll have to see, because January is normally a slow demand month anyways, right? People, they spend all their money over Christmas and Thanksgiving, and so they're not driving, they're not doing a lot of stuff, they're not going to eat. So it might be a better time to have the lockdowns, because you just have a seasonal kind of dip in demand anyways, at least in the U.S.
No, that's true. But Brent's staying steady, so we'll see.
Well, and the next time we do the show, OPEC will have met, and so that might be curious to see what they have. If they
Absolutely, there was what's that? January the 4th.
The 4th, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I was going to talk about that Supreme Council, and then I took it off, thinking that it wasn't wasn't going to be show worthy, but it's still interesting from the from UAE. I think it's emerging there, and I'm not sure if they're trying to divest a little bit. I mean, I know they're sooner or later will divest somehow, but there'll be there's plenty of desert to put up solar. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over here and talk about Japan here.
Oh boy.
So this came out from Reuters on Christmas Day. Japan aims to eliminate gasoline vehicles by the mid 2030s to boost green growth. So it seems everybody wants to get on the train there, eliminating vehicles, but or gasoline vehicles. But can they hold to it? I guess my argument, Ryan, I'll jump in there first. They previously announced a full carbon neutral country by I think it was 2050 or 2060. I can't remember.
Everyone's got some kind of thing like that.
So how they gonna power the city and deliver goods, and assume that the sale of diesel powered vehicles will go up now. But do you know how many vehicles are in Japan? Just take a wild guess.
I don't know. That's a good question. How many?
69 million. Okay, so it is only 69% of the population. The rest obviously have bicycles.
Right, or public transportation.
We're back. You still there, Ryan?
I'm here. Did you go away again?
Yeah.
I thought
I'm
you were
still here, man.
I thought you were in deep thought for a second. I didn't know. Last time your whole thing went away, so.
Yeah, I think this one here may have just been a reboot. I don't know. But yeah, so that's only 69% of the population. Rest have bicycles that have tires made out of oil and gas. So yeah, which is strange.
So let me ask you this, Greg. You talk about, and to be fair, they're saying that it's hybrid vehicles. So I'm assuming that you can have some sort of gasoline powered vehicle, unless I misunderstood what the point was. But a lot of people don't understand this. If today you said there's 69 million, let's make it easy to say 70 million. If there's 70 million cars in Japan, and with a snap of the finger, you took them all from gas and diesel and you put them on electric, the grid in Japan would crash at the first recharge, right? So if they're all fully charged, however long a charge lasts, right? You have a few.
You're giving them the one free shot there.
Right.
So everybody gets a free charge the first time off the grid. Yeah.
Everybody gets a free charge, and then as soon as you plug them in, the grid's dead. And so, I'm not a electrical engineer. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a math major. I'm none of those kind of things. But I do know a little bit about just how life works. And it's hard to predict patterns. And so you got to start determining, because we have a base load. We have a base load of energy that we use in the U.S. or Japan, wherever. And that's kind of hard to figure out, especially when the pandemic has shifted a lot of that, right? And we saw that in the U.S., that the base load went from, it was kind of these hours to now it's more throughout the day and yada, yada. Well, if you start bringing these cars in and you got to start charging the cars, and you got 70 million of them, that it changes the way the power is distributed across the island, and that's a problem.
Well, I mean, it's they use PLC logic, and they use server loading and everything else. So when things are starting to pick up in one place, it levels out across the grid, and when it's dropping from one place, and they put it back into I guess they got batteries there storing the electricity. So I mean, that's how boys from I think. From Elon Musk Group, they store it all back in batteries and spit it back into the grid. So, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I don't think that they're leading the pack as far as going to or getting rid of vehicles, by no means. But just coming out and saying that, they didn't say that, say that they were going to be doing completely away with it. You're right. But, that they're probably, on the borderline of saying, okay, well, if we don't say something about that, then the UN's going to kick us out or something. So everybody's got to say something about it,
Well, right. And I think just for me, it's one of those things. It's not about, well, okay, there's a whole debate over EVs and whether we should, whether they're worth going to or not. That's a separate argument. But just the whole notion of we're going to put everyone on an EV. There is a strain on the grid. And if you look at California or South Africa or any place that has regular power outages, putting more electric vehicles on the grid is not going to fix that problem. It's only
no, that's right. No, they have to reclaim some of the ocean front there to be able to build all the places to put their batteries. So,
yeah, well, that's the other thing is that so you might know something about this, Greg, but so let's just take an EV. If you buy an EV now, you got the battery.
James, thanks for coming by real quick. I know you're on the rig there in Brazil, so be safe and Happy New Year's, buddy. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, James. So if you buy an EV today, right, how long does that battery last?
I think the average life on the EV battery, I think they're saying is, I think it's 20 years, or maybe it's 10 years. No, it's 10 years.
Yeah, I was thinking 10 years. Right. Okay, so 10 years. So most people in the U.S. have a vehicle closer to the 10-year mark than they do the brand new mark, right?
That's right.
So that means that you have a lot of, as these EVs go out, a lot of cars that will be second generation, and they go from Brian to Greg. Well, Greg's got to get a new battery. And then when Greg gets a new battery, you got to go put that battery somewhere, right?
Right.
Well, on the island of Japan, where are they going to store all of these batteries? Because these batteries they're not biodegradable,
Well, I think you're probably going to do the same thing they do with a lot of their waste. I mean, I'm sure that Japan's not just full of, landfills and everything else. I'm sure a lot of their trash goes off the island. So that's all, a lot of their recycled material probably goes off the island. There's a lot of material that probably leaves and doesn't stay. So
I don't
where they sending the batteries. Yeah.
Right. But so then you're going to send it to some other country and you're going to say some other country has to deal with this. All I'm saying is that the green movement wants you to believe that you have an EV and you've cured environmental problems. No, well, you've looked at one environmental problem and you put it here, and then you have a different environmental problem over here that you haven't addressed. And that's just because we're humans, and when we build stuff, we do stuff, we just cause problems that we have to then work on.
Well, I mean, they can always put it on a boat and send it to the Southern Indian Ocean. We seem to lose everything in the Southern Indian Ocean. So,
hey, listen, I wonder if someone will come up with the idea of like a trash compactor that goes to the bottom of the Marianas Trench, right? You take it to above the Marianas Trench, you put it like not lead, but some kind of heavy metal container, and you just send it to the bottom down there. That's deeper than the Mount Everest is high. Surely we could put waste down there, Greg, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would it'd be about this big, so it won't take up that much room when it gets down there. So
right. Plenty of room to store stuff down there.
No, you're actually right, Jose. The mining for lithium is scavenges the surface. You're right. It's
100%.
Yeah, it leaves. If you've ever seen a person with skin cancer, this is kind of what mining for lithium looks like. I agree.
And just one more thing on that, Greg, is that I don't talk about the mining aspect because they don't really. Most environmental EV pushers don't really care about that for some reason. And I just try to point out things that most people care about, which is, will the power in my house work? And when you start telling them that if everyone goes to EVs, the power at the house might not work, at least then kind of get people going, oh, well, I've never thought about that, because for some reason, all this other stuff that we jump up and down over oil and gas, we don't care about it for other things. It frustrates me. So I'm with Jose there.
No, right. I agree. I think even in a perfect, I'm not saying perfect world. I mean, there's still parts of Houston that's not running on fiber. So, I mean, you take the larger cities, 1, 2, 3, 4s, the big boys up there, and you switch them all over to EVs, the grid, especially the public transportation. So if you swap the public transportation over to electric in, say, places like New York and LA with the subways and everything like that, can you imagine the drain on the grid that's going to happen? I mean, now a lot of subways are already electric, but they're not full of, upgrades and capacities and everything else for people that's having to get rid of their gas powered vehicles and now ride the train. So,
right, exactly.
All right, China's oil production to reach 3.87 million barrels per day. So this is your kind of background, Ryan. So I'll kind of toss that one over to you. Not a whole lot of comments from my side other than, these guys are saying 2060 carbon neutral, which I mean is good, but I'll obviously more people, more energy. But what's your thoughts?
China is. You feel like you talk about China, no matter what you say, there's more nuance there. So China's oil. So for all the folks on here that are like, BP said we reached peak oil demand, stuff like that. China would seem to crush that alone because they're not the number one consumer of per capita oil. We are. And so the only reason that we are is because we're a wealthier per capita nation than China is. So as China's wealth increases, their oil demand will go up exponentially. So, which is part of the reason that they buy so much oil when the price is soft. And so that's one of the things that's kept the price up over these past few months is that China has been keep buying oil because they want to buy it cheap because they need it. They need to use a lot of it. So as far as their oil production going up, I can tell you this time last year, I was in talks with some folks that were looking to go over, some Chinese folks that were looking to bring over some U.S. folks to teach them how to drill, to frack wells and to build pipeline infrastructure and stuff like that. So I don't know what their peak potential output is, but I think they have more oil under the ground than they're able to produce right now, and they don't have power. There's other issues in those fields.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but it's also, you're looking at the geology of China is certainly going to be a challenge too onshore.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted the Americans to come over to help them because they had
it's a lot different going out in the Permian when you're looking at 15, 18 miles of straight ahead off the rig floor, nothing but flat. But so.
Well, you do have that, but you also got.
They do it in Colorado all day long, man. So I mean, they can do it. They can do it everywhere else. So.
West Virginia, all those places, Pennsylvania, where you got little mountainous regions up there.
Some crazy stories about these guys getting these rigs into some of those places, man. Some crazy stories.
But the difference is, Greg, is that when you go to China and you're like, we want to drill a well up there, and like, well, there's a creek, there's this endangered species, all of that goes away. They bring in the bulldozers, they level it off, and they just go to work. So
they just get on it.
So it's, the mentality is a little bit different over there. But I think China.
I think that's where we used to be, 60s, 50s, and 60s.
I was talking to someone in the Marcellus who talked about weird stories.
We'd run a bulldozer right through basically right through the middle of town in the 50s and 60s. So I mean,
oh, yeah.
if you owned it, we might think about giving you a check, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit different now these days.
I know. I talked to someone and they were up in the West Virginia, and they were dealing with the EPA, or I can't remember who it was. Some environmental agency over a creek. There's a pipeline company had to buy these credits to get under it and all this stuff. It was a big pain. And he looks over there and there's like a mountain that's cut off the top or something, he said, because the coal industry had come in there and just leveled it. And so they're getting the preferential treatment. And he's just talking about how frustrated he was that the coal industry could kind of do all this stuff. But
so he's having to go underneath the creek, and the coal guys, they just ripped the whole top of the mountain off.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so I'm just saying, when you go to China, you can rip the top of the mountain off if you want to.
Well, I think the I think it says a lot for international demand whenever they can ramp up like that. I think it's only, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was only 1.6% increase, but it's the second year that they've been ramping up. So
Yeah, China's a larger producer of oil than people think. The people are kind of sleeping on that. They, I don't know where they rank in the overall oil producing countries here. But it's higher than you would think. At least for me, when I looked at it, I never would have thought that they were that high. You just don't think of them as, you think of the U.S. and OPEC and Brazil offshore maybe, or the the North Sea. You kind of have these big names that you think about, but
right.
But China was not one that you would think of. And then let's see here, oil production by country. China is number 6.
That's still, I mean, you're talking up there still. I mean,
so yeah. So who's ahead of them? The U.S., Saudis, Russia, Iraq, Iran, and then China. They're ahead of Canada, Kuwait, Brazil, Venezuela, Mexico, Nigeria. All these names.
Yeah, every country in Africa.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's what I'm saying, but like those are names that you talk about as oil producing countries. You don't talk about as China as an oil producing country, but it's number 6.
Yeah.
This is 2019 production as well, so it could be higher in 2020.
Well, 3.87 million barrels per day. It looks like it's probably a little higher.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm sure that they have a rosy outlook. I mean, again, the world's not getting any smaller. So.
Well, I don't know. They are building islands in the UAE, aren't they? Dubai, all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but the world's not getting any smaller.
Technically, the world is not.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, we're every day, we're covering more acreage with human life. So
we are building more oceanfront property.
And yeah, we are reclaiming more of the ocean too. So taking back some property. If you don't believe me, go to Singapore. They'll show you all about it.
I need to go to Singapore. I've never been.
It's nice, man. Don't take any marijuana with you, or you'll be done. So, all right, you'll be whooped in public. To all my Singapore friends, there was so that would have been, I guess that's 7-8 years ago now, where I spent a pretty good chunk of time in Singapore, and it was great. People are wonderful. You can. One of the only places I've been where you can, walk down the street at 2-3 o'clock in the morning and not have any issues at all. It's better than Houston. So,
well, hold on. I'm not sure you can walk through Houston at 2 o'clock in the morning.
No, what I'm saying is that Singapore is better than Houston at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I know, but what I'm saying is like, that's not a very apt comparison, because.
Oh, well, okay, so. What's a real comparison?
Obviously, there, Granbury. Obviously, Granbury. Like, it's safe. Granbury. Safe.
Well, I mean, even in the little small place that I'm from, in Manny, it was, now probably, it's a little bit different than we were growing up. But
let me tell you somewhere you could walk probably any time of day or night. Beijing.
Unless you, have a can of spray paint and tag a federal building there or something, it's probably.
Or a Winnie the Pooh mask. Don't break those out. That's a no-no.
Yeah, you don't want to be messing around.
But no, I mean, seriously, have you been to Beijing, right?
Have not.
Okay, well, Beijing is
no, I haven't been to Beijing, but I mean, I've flown through Beijing.
Okay. Right, but yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, not flown through. Like I thought you may have gotten out and about. But when you get out in Beijing, they have these rings. Well, the closer to the middle you get, like it's almost like a parody of a city, because there's no trash. Everything's clean. Now, you can't see the sky, obviously, because of the smog. But other than that, you could probably walk around day or night and no one would mess with you. I think. Now, I'm sure there's parts of Beijing that are dangerous like anywhere else. But where we were, seriously, I would have slept on the street, not worried about anybody bugging me. The only person that bugged me while I was there, I mean, I got detained. We'll talk about that another time. But you heard my getting detained story?
No, I haven't heard anything about the detained story. But yeah, okay. We can say another one.
But the only person that bugged me, huh?
I said, put it on the list.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I didn't know you were talking about me getting detained in China. Come back next week. So As far as the channel, yeah, I was detained. I got a ticket somewhere. I can pull. I was looking for my
damn criminal.
Listen. They did not fingerprint my stuff. I'm okay. We'll talk about next show. You're with a gangster, son. Let me tell you something right now. Gangster. If someone's asking about trusting the account numbers, the answer we start talking
about gangsters. This Walmart employee was a gangster on a whole nother level. Probably is now unemployed, but we're moving to the next one here.
Yeah, and so Jose was asking about trusting China numbers.
Ryan, did you see this one?
Real quick, Jose asked about trusting China's
numbers. Did you see
numbers.
this one?
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Greg?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I was saying Jose was asking trusting China's numbers. So the answer generally is no. But right,
China's listening.
Right. Yeah, the answer is generally no. You can't trust their numbers. But the question, but on some things you can kind of figure out how close the numbers are. It's like the oil production. If there were 969 million barrels a day missing in production, we would be able to determine that. So we could kind of figure out what their production is based upon other things. And so some things are going to lie about like how many COVID cases they have, a lot more than others.
So David's asking, we need WTI Houston up to 50 million barrels per month. Next, Ryan?
You cut out, Greg. What's that, bud?
No, I was saying David Bush was saying we need WTI Houston up to 50 million barrels per month.
50 million barrels per month. No comment on that one. I'll let you take that one, Greg.
No comment either. But Tom is saying detained.
Yes, I was detained briefly, but I was detained.
I can see here we're going to get hung up on detained. We're gonna have to close that one up and move to another show with that one.
I got someone hit my DMs up now, so sorry. Yes, I was briefly detained. We would.
Well, if you share your detained story, I'll share my detained story. How about that?
Yours is probably better than mine, but I will tell you mine. So we'll do it next episode or this episode. When you want to do it?
No, we'll trade off detained stories next episode.
All right, there we go. Said overtime would be detained with Greg Williams and Ryan Ray.
Oh. So did you see this one?
Yeah,
Walmart thought it was the goat. There was a Walmart employee there so there was certainly some music playing in the background, and someone was doing a video, I'm sure, of this particular song on TikTok, which is a pretty famous tune. It's been done probably a million times, but somebody was probably doing this video and made a mistake. So
it's not worth it. I'm not gonna do it, girl. I was just thinking about it. I'm not gonna do it. I did it.
So now that was probably a joke that went bad. Somebody probably said, "I bet you won't send that tweet."
Oh yeah.
So Walmart, for our audience there, Walmart dropped a tweet yesterday after, in response to Josh Hawley's contesting the 2020 election results. So Walmart's Twitter account responded, "Go ahead, get your 2-hour debate, #sore loser." In a sense, deleted tweet. But Mr. Josh responded back with, it was gangster again. Now with that, now that you've insulted 75 million Americans, will you at least apologize for using slave labor? Holly wrote, or maybe you'd like to apologize for the pathetic wages you pay your workers as you drive mom and pop stores out of business. Just drop the bomb on them. So after the Twitter account was taken away from whichever social media person that used to work for the company, Walmart came back with this later after the deleted tweet. "We deleted the post and have no intention of commenting on the subject of certifying the Electoral College. It said, We apologize to Senior Senator Hawley for this error and any confusion about our position. So, like we've said, or like I've said every show, please research the brand. You know, it may be a few people inside of the brand that doesn't agree or doesn't, think the same way. And I mean, again, free speech is fantastic, but keep it polite as best as you can, because they're all in it to make money somewhere, everywhere.
Yeah. So I'm curious. You're I know you're poking fun here. Granbury Gangsters.
And
Tom, you see Tom Granbury.
yeah, that's great.
That's right. Don't you better show respect. So this is a funny story, because obviously the CEO of Walmart did not tweet this out, right? As you say,
No.
social media. It could be the head of social media, but it's probably some social media lackey that's on there and like, I'm gonna, don't do it. I'm gonna do it, or I'm gonna do this because what are you gonna do? You gonna fire me? Okay, I'll get another job, and I'll probably get a better job because I'm the one who sent it out. So no risk for the person sending the tweet out. Walmart's got to take it on the chin, and so I love the fact that the senator, who if you listen to me enough, I don't like politicians. He took the opportunity to just slap him around over slave labor in China. He knows what I just said is true. He knows it. And he's just like, you know what? Yeah.
Just
pay people more. Because what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Because if they come back and be like, well, we support your stance, they're going to piss off half of America. If they just he had them.
This is why I like Wendy's. Wendy's a killer. They come back with the right too.
Wendy's
with the right hook. So man, they
play.
Whoever's running Wendy's account needs to step over and run Walmart's account.
Yeah, Wendy's ain't playing. Wendy's, I don't mess with that redheaded chick. Leave her alone.
No, I go visit it from time to time, but I definitely don't comment on much. That's for sure.
No, I don't want no Wendy's. But you agree, right? Like the senator knows they can't do anything, and so he has the chance just to blast them at will. And they can't do anything. So it's what politicians do. They take cheap political shots. And I see Alyssa has to go. Alyssa, good having you. Stay safe out there tonight.
Thank you for coming around. Everybody that comes on and engages with us, that's all like a big Christmas gift for me. So from me and Ryan, thanks Alyssa for showing up.
Yeah, it's Christmas in December. We appreciate that.
Always. Yeah, I mean, seriously, if someone at Walmart had the same person from Wendy's, what do you think the reply would have been to that tweet? So what do you think Wendy's reply to that slave labor tweet would have been? What do you think?
I don't think Wendy's is in China, so they probably wouldn't have. He probably couldn't have used it. But if he did, the slave labor one's tough. That's a tough one to get around, because I mean, you got to be careful, because if you say we're in China but we're not using slave labor, like that's a very risky stance to take, because you might be, and so.
I mean, if anyone from Walmart's listening, I mean, I know that there's been some very successful careers and a lot of long history with the people with Walmart, but I'm going to tell you, whenever I was 27, 28, Walmart was the only job my mom could find for a while. And, of course, I was gone and, grown up and moved on, had a family of my own at the time. But, my mom was struggling a little bit, and so she went to work at Walmart. And, I mean, she had, retail experience of, probably, I don't know, however many years of retail experience. Plus, she had plenty of other things on the go as well. Plus, she was super good with math, almost a CPA. When I say almost a CPA, she wasn't a certified one, but but she was doing taxes for a lot of different people and helping out and things like that. But they would only put her on a part-time schedule for, I think it was 23, 24 hours a week. And then they got her all the way up to like 38, 39 hours and refused to push her over the 40-hour mark because they would have to pay her benefits. And that was 2006, 2007, whatever it was.
That's a topic.
This is not like the 70s we're talking about.
Right. That's
been my only hatchet against Walmart for years, is that each Walmart is run like a little country. So the managers there do what they want to. So, I mean, it's not like it, there's nobody coming in and looking at how many people they got. I mean, if they had 1,000 part-time employees for one store, you probably get patted on the back if everybody worked 1 hour a day. You had enough people to cover shifts, right? Everything stayed up and running. But anyway, maybe another story for another time.
Well, no, I mean, I think we do need to talk about that one day, because that's an interesting topic. Is the reason that the government actually puts these. So in my world, everyone would be able to negotiate their contracts. So your mom might say, well, I would rather have the benefits and work 27 hours a week, or I'd rather work 60 hours a week and have no benefits. The government puts these rules that allow the companies to then manipulate the system. And so your mom, maybe I don't know what she wanted, didn't want. I'm saying, but you got to have 40 hours to be full time. So then they start playing these games. Whereas, instead of your mom being able to negotiate one-on-one like an independent contractor can,
right?
She can't be an independent contractor and work for Walmart in the capacity that she was working. And so
that's right.
That's a big frustration of mine. But one more thing on the Walmart thing. Just in all seriousness, the part of the problem that does bug me about the story is that this was not a Walmart press release, right? And so this is. So if you want to get mad at Walmart, and so that's why the senator's kind of a hack, in my opinion, is he knows Walmart isn't saying this. And so you keep that in mind for everyone that's listening around. It's hilarious. It's funny. But that's all it really is. It's not Walmart coming out against Trump or the senator or whatever. It's just some person throwing bombs and getting bombed back on. So,
well, I mean, the reason I wanted to bring it up because I thought the reply back was hilarious.
It's funny, right?
That was the entire reason to bring it up on the show. I think you always got to stay lighthearted about some of this, because I think if you got too deep into it, you'd probably drive yourself into a depressed coma. So, anyway.
Exactly.
So, Brian, you're at a crossroads. You're 38 years old. Should you get out of the drilling sector, or do you think it comes back and you have a career after the next 15 years? I mean, or for the next 15 years. I'm going to say right now, I think that's a crapshoot, my friend. I think what you got is you have Ryan's. Obviously, he's published a few things on, getting to work and staying to work in the field. And I've been doing it 26 years, still currently doing it. So the best thing I can say is be perceptive. Save your money, be perceptive. Look at your the place you're working from. I may be next on the list thought, and make your, do as much as you can. And all of us are expendable in this. So, but do the best you can to make yourself different from everybody else. Now, I'm not talking about grabbing your semi-automatic and heading into the post office. That's not what kind of shit I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you're, whatever you're making yourself, when you're making yourself different, you want to, do a little bit more, or, maybe put a little bit more shine on your work. I mean, it's
It's correct. Maybe you want to be the person when they're sitting there having that conversation. They're going, well, if we get rid of Brian, then he does this and he does this and he does this and he does this, and God, he can also do this, and he helped out with that. And so we can get rid of 4 folks and keep one Brian. Like that's what you're saying. Like you want to have.
Well, yeah, you want to try to make yourself as irreplaceable as possible.
That's right.
That's
right.
And I mean, and that should be in basically anything. If you're working for someone else, that should be, for me, that's the only work ethic that you should have. So
the other thing I'm curious, Greg, I would say, just to answer the question, is if you're going to stay in the oil and gas industry, the U.S. has a lot of kind of turbulent months ahead of it to figure out who's going to be around, what's going to be happening. I would say the biggest thing for, especially, you said that you're doing drilling sector. Are you willing to move literally anywhere? Like how far? Like, I don't know Brian personally, so I'm just, but if he's been working in the Permian for the past 4 or 5 years, is he willing to go down to Brazil or to Nigeria or to China or to wherever, insert country here, West Virginia? Are you willing to move around a lot? Because Greg, you have more of this experience than me, but like that would seem to be the big thing right now is being willing to go onshore, then to offshore, and then go down to Brazil or go to wherever, Singapore.
Yeah, I think you're doing maintenance offshore. Okay, yeah. The international. Of course, we talked about this a couple of times in a few shows now. But the NOC, the NOC side of this, the national guys, their work hasn't stopped.
Mm-hmm.
They have done nothing but ramp up business. And the reason I'm saying what I am about the NOCs is because you're going to if you took the world and you split it down to half of 4 different sections, all four sections would have a different need for people.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the U.S. being the upper leftmost portion and North America, they have the less need for people simply because, I hate to tout it, but I mean, that's where we started it at. So, I mean, you're never going to go to where something was created and not find people experienced to do that. So, you need to be looking into the, to parts of Eastern Europe and the Mediterranean. And I mean, the Mediterranean is actually a really good kickoff place for people that it's, for people that want to go international. The Mediterranean is a great place. There's plenty of work lined up for the next 2 or 3 years in the Med. I mean, I say next 2 or 3 years. It's a bit slow right now, but from what I understand, 2022, and I know we're talking 2021, and but there's 3, 4 really, really large projects coming up in the Med. There's more projects coming up in the Med than there is in any other place international right now. And when I say projects, I'm talking about longer term exploration projects. So there's a lot of stuff happening there. There's a lot of stuff happening in parts of Eastern Africa and West Africa. I mean, but again, you have to be resilient and keep your CV updated. And if you need to make that move, just give them a call and say, look, I'm out. So it's not for me. It used to be all about loyalty to the brand. Whenever I started with the companies I'm working for, and I mean, I worked for Neighbors, Hercules, since been consumed, Transocean, 16 years with Transocean. And I mean, the smaller ones that I'm working for now, I mean, they're super great company. Obviously, if anybody's watching this broadcast here, I am duly noted that they are a decent company to work for. Although we have gotten a lot smaller over the years. We were small when I came here, but we're really small now. But yeah, I think the idea there, Brian, is to is to stay resilient. But yeah, when you say expats aren't preferred anymore, I mean, and I'll just get right down here to it. It's simply based on the organization that you're with or the need for the service that you perform. And so when I say that, it's sometimes, and I'm probably going to piss off. I try not to continue to do this, but I'm probably going to piss off a few people. But it depends on when you're talking about the Mediterranean. You're talking about, the most experienced person in the Mediterranean is going to be from Egypt. So you got some of the Cypriots there that are got a lot of experience, but nobody from those areas have made it into the supervisor position. If you're with me. So I mean, although they've got 20, 30 years experience, they haven't made it into that next level simply because they've had expats sitting in those levels on board all of these different facilities and rigs and places like that. So what they're doing now is they are starting to train people locally to work in these positions. But again, the reason you get into these positions is because you've been synthesized. You've been through 20 years of the grind. So as you work your way up, you know how to deal with each different situation. But again, I don't think it's a fact that the expats aren't preferred anymore. The local personnel are preferred because they're cheaper, only because they're cheaper, not because more experienced, but it's a price thing is all it is. It goes back to that labor burden like we always talk about. That's the first thing that gets cut. But your experience, where you're at, you may look at some, different overseas inspection companies. You may go consultant for, some non-destructive, testing places. And I mean, it's a big world out there, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Jean-Francois, good to see you and to hear you. Hey, just wish a better 2021 than 2020. Shouldn't be difficult.
I am so glad you said that name. I'd have said Gene. What says John?
Listen, me and Jean-Francois go back up. I don't know what year that was. I'm going to keep getting into this history, but we go back. I think that goes back to 2014. He came down for a rig inspection in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. And friends, by the way, you took a ride on me.
Uh-oh.
Jean-Francois, I was just saying that you still owe me a dinner from Port Elizabeth, South Africa, by the way. You need to have your checkbook ready whenever you come back around. So, no, good people, man. Jean-Francois with Total, and still a lot of good people in Total and from the FINA side and the ELF side. So many good people in the world, man. Brian, good luck in everything that you do. Happy New Year to you and your family. So hang in there. Stay tight. All right. Off the politics thing here. We're going to talk about JJ Watt a little bit. So, he had a little bit of stuff to say after that last Sunday's 37-31 bounce to the Bengals. So, looks like he's calling out the rest of his team to step up there. I don't know where Ben's at. He's not dialed in yet. So,
yeah,
he hasn't been brought on.
Definitely.
But he said, if you can't come in and put work in the building, go out to the practice field card, do your lifts and do what you're supposed to do, you shouldn't be here. This is a job. We're getting paid a lot of money. Period. He just called out the rest of his team, man.
Are you a big JJ Watt guy?
What's that?
Are you a big fan of JJ?
I like JJ because I think there's some truth behind JJ. There's a lot of people that don't have truth, but I think there's some truth behind JJ.
Yeah, so I don't follow him enough.
Unless you think he's the face of a machine, which is, he's
built like a.
Who knows? He's built like that mountain with the top off of it, except he's still got the head. So
he got the head. So I think,
got the head.
Let me just say this:
he does got a head. He got the head the size of a moose. But anyway.
Whatever you think of JJ, and I kind of go back from sometimes I think he's kind of the cheesy, playing to the fans. Sometimes he seems authentic. Maybe it's just his personality. This was a brilliant move because who in their right mind is going to sit there and what are you going to say back to him? You can't, because everything he said is factually true. Even if he is kind of playing into the shtick, and I don't know if he is or not. Even if he is, he played it perfectly. It was a brilliant play, and it's true.
Was.
It's so true.
It was. It's even, especially now when he's probably got the mouthpiece out since they let old boy go there 2 games ago. So they've ripped the mouthpiece off of him, and so he's probably running around. He's probably running around wild, So
yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It's a fantastic way. I think more athletes. So let's just, for argument's sake, say that JJ that's not his real personality. More athletes need to understand what if this is a shtick. They didn't understand what the shtick is. He just got himself a statue built in Houston, Texas. Like that's what he did.
Look, man, they're almost renamed 90 JJ Watt Highway. So there was a petition for months and months to rename the highway JJ Watt Highway. So
if you look at what happened after the hurricane, and I'm just saying if I'm giving him evil,
it's the wholesome thing. It's the wholesome thing.
Yeah, he got the wholesome thing down pat, and so these athletes, I don't necessarily care, what the athletes say or do, because my son always asks me, "Is this a good guy? Is this a good guy?" I'm like, I don't know any of these guys. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, it's better than finding a trunk full of cocaine with David Justice in the '95 World Series. So, I mean, there's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a completely different thing with doing hurricane work versus with the attitude JJ's got. A lot of other people. So.
Right. No. All I'm trying to say is that if more athletes would just even if it was a facade, they would adopt his position. They would find their lives. They can make more money, especially post career, because J.J. Watt post career will drain Houston for everything he wants.
Dominated.
So I'm not saying he's a fake. I'm saying even if he is a fake, he's a genius. And if more athletes,
he's got some long term investment there because of.
Right.
The amount he does work hard when he's on the field. He puts in a lot of hard work out there, and I'm sure that if I was JJ and I'm in the field house or I'm in the gym and I'm in the training facility, right there across at Methodist at the training facility there. If I'm in there and I'm looking around and I see a few people not there a couple of times, I'm going to start asking questions because number one, JJ's probably not getting paid anywhere close to what some of those other guys are getting paid.
Right.
Number one, right? Because he likes what he's doing. He likes where he's at. He took a cheap contract for whatever it was, 10 years, wasn't it? Something like that. So, I say cheap, but he took a way less amount, capped contract where some other people took a lot of other money and he may be firing some shots at some people like that didn't show up,
I just don't understand why more athletes don't get this mentality of if you tap.
They're 4'11".
If you say to the fans, we suck. We need to try harder. We need to get our act together. Fans are like, yeah, that's our guy. Like it's not that hard. And
As soon as you can say that, and it's probably after this interview right here that his T-shirt sales probably went through the roof.
Through the roof.
So,
through the roof.
Absolutely.
So again, I guess for everyone listening, I'm not saying JJ's a good guy or a bad guy. I'm saying even if you presumed he's a bad guy, if more athletes would get this position, the media would fawn over them. You know how hard it is to criticize JJ Watt if you're a media member?
He don't get much criticism.
Because even if he deserves it, because the fans will pound you into some, they'll say you hate it. So I don't know. This is not hard. If you're an NFL athlete, call me up. We'll go through the JJ Watt steps of greatness and get it done for you.
Yeah, either that or his wife would probably take you out too. And I'm not talking about like out on a date. I'm talking about. I'm talking about with a straight right hook too.
Happily married. So, I'm happily married. I know I'm better looking than JJ, but I'm happily married.
Well, I'm going to tell you his wife's hardcore too. She's a hell of an athlete. She's I remember her name now, but she's a professional soccer player. So she's hardcore as well. There's the power couple. So
okay,
and both of them do a lot of work in public as well. So
Keeley, their name Keeley.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
but again, I think some of the frustration that JJ has. They were in going out of week 16 and 17, but they were 4-11. So I could see him being a little bit pissed off with some people not showing up whenever they got us, whenever they're standing like that in the rankings. But hey, I'm glad he got some of that energy out on the in the press room. So that's good for him.
Yep, good for him.
Man, Barstool Sports. So everybody knows Barstool Sports. They do their media is everywhere and has been for 10 years. But one thing you didn't know about Barstool Sports, and I didn't know about this either until I actually saw Gary Vee tweet about it. And so let me go check this out. And that's whenever I come to find out about the Barstool Fund. Now, the Barstool Fund is a fund that is taking care of small businesses in America. And if you go through the list here, I'll put the link in the show notes. But if you go through the list here, This is Mr. Dave Portnoy there with Barstool Sports. But if you go through the list here, I mean, you're talking New York funded, Massachusetts funded, Illinois is funded, New York funded, New York, New Jersey, Michigan, California, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Virginia, New York, Illinois, New York, Pennsylvania. I mean, there's just all of these little small businesses and mom and pop restaurants. And I mean, it's amazing to see, this kind of platform that Barstool Sports. I mean, even Max Tenders is in there, man, from Houston. So, I mean, look, so Ryan, what do you think about this, man?
It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, right? I mean, this is why this is America at its finest. This is why, we need to get the government out of our business, let them go just, talk about stupid stuff they talk about, and let Americans help Americans, and let us figure out what we need to do, what's best for us. And so hats off to Mr. Portnoy. He is filthy rich, and he's filthy rich because
Definitely.
He did the things that you're doing, Greg. Build out a media company and grow, try to grow it, and was successful. And then, he made a bunch of money. Now he's paying it back. And here's the thing, even
he's calling out people. I mean, he goes on Twitter and calls out like some of the biggest names in Twitter.
Yeah.
He dares them to fund him up, puts money in the fund. So, and the thing about it is, when he comes in, he matches whatever they put in. He just, it's just that was the 27th. I mean, that was only 7 million, but look, man, it's up to 12. That was this dude. This was from the 27th, just
and it goes
4 days ago.
And
it's doubled.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Greg. It goes back to what we talked about with JJ Watt. I don't know Portnoy. If you watch Portnoy, sometimes you think now Portnoy is a media member. He's he plays a shtick. Sometimes he seems to be a big
turn for screw.
Yeah.
He turns the screw.
That's right. And so sometimes you're like, he's a jerk. Sometimes he's the nicest guy in the world. At the end of the day, first off, he's helping people out. So, you're going to tip the hat to that regardless. Second off, this is going to help Barstool, and it's going to give other people ideas going, oh, we could probably do something like this, or I could help out here, or, and so these are the types of things that you kind of have to step back and you kind of applaud. And Barstool, rightly or wrongly, I listen to one of their shows, and I don't listen to it religiously, but I listen to one of their shows. So I take it back. I listen to one show and I watch the Barstool Sports Advisors with Stu the Source Diviner on there, because he is hilarious. Anyways, he's like over the top hilarious. But anyways, so I don't watch all of the content. I'm not really in the ethos of what they do. I know they're always in a controversy, and to me, this is kind of a way to stick it back to everyone.
Well, I think at one point in time, Barstool was in the place where DraftKings was at. And I think if Barstool Sports would have launched their own betting platform, they could have wiped out DraftKings at one point in time or another. That's how big I think.
They're already doing now, though.
What's that? Barstool is?
Yeah, they got bought up by Penn National.
Okay.
So that's how important. So that's what happened earlier this year, like last year. Penn National Gaming bought them up, and so they have their whole betting site now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm behind times then. Like I said, I ran across this.
It's a great story. No, I'm glad you brought it up. It's a great story.
Ran across this, and anybody that's listening, it's a mom and pop business. It's especially on LinkedIn, and and that needs a bit of support. Go to Barstool Sports and just Google, or even go to Google and just Google Barstool Fund. And I mean, they have the application link right there at the very top of the page. So go jump in there, and let Dave and the guys help you out. I mean, you're talking 4,000 there. I mean, if you just imagine if you multiplied that times all these different businesses they got in there. So yeah, even if it's just to keep your employees employed and paid, through another month or something, small town businesses. So just jump in there and go get it. All right. We're going to do the excessive force. So just as a public safety announcement here, if anybody that doesn't want to watch a small amount of violence on a video, then you can go ahead and please turn off the broadcast. But we're going to show the audience what real police excessive force is, and I'm sorry that the people in Keller had to go through this, but we're going to play this clip.
Today, you made a wide right turn when you turned from 1709 to 377. Any reason why you rolled your window up when I walked up to this car?
No, sir.
You had been driving it down for the past mile.
I just rolled it up.
All right, step out of the car for me. Step out. You not shut that window. Open it now. Step out. Right here. Face that direction. Face that direction. Put your hands right here behind your back. Don't move. You understand? Why are you acting so suspicious? Well, you're rolling your window up, and I'm walking up on scene for a routine traffic stop. Ain't nothing going on. You roll your window up. What does that look like to me?
I mean, I'm just rolling it up because for my safety.
For your safety?
Yeah. Nothing. I rolled up my window.
Take off.
That's my dad.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I rolled up my window,
320. Give me a unit code now.
and he got mad because I rolled up my window.
Step right here.
Go down. I rolled it up. Back
Step
up.
right your feet.
Yeah.
You're about to be arrested for blocking the roadway if you don't park and get out.
I rolled up.
Park over there.
I can. It's my right.
You are interfering with my job. You need to go park over there.
I rolled up my window like you said. It was my right to roll up my window.
No, it's not. And now you're taking away. Just watch him. What? Want me to stand here? Arrest him.
Watch me stand here.
Put your phone down.
Blocking the roadway?
Put your phone down. Turn around.
No, man. For what? Hold on. What am I blocking? I'm not
Put your
blocking
phone
any
down.
roadway.
Nope. Enough.
I am not blocking a roadway.
Put your phone down. Put your hands behind your head.
Hey, Russ, I hope you got this on video. This guy's arresting me for just standing here. And now he's taking my phone away.
Hey. What are you doing?
Dude, oh my God.
Hey, you're gonna
Dude, what are you doing?
you're gonna get sprayed. Okay, spray. Put your hands behind your head. Spray.
Yeah, spray. I'm not even doing anything. Get that over here.
323. Need more unit. Run code.
Dude, what the heck, man?
Stop.
Stay away.
323. OC spread.
What is this about? Russ, can you take my phone?
Hey, stay away, sir. Sir, stay away.
All right. That's a big boy, too.
That's a big boy. It's a
And
big
so you seen there toward the end that
We're thrilled today.
they were struggling a little bit with him. But so thoughts, Ryan?
You know, I got a lot to say on this. How long you got?
Well, I mean, just you can ad lib it, because I mean, I'll just say it real quick. Like, you know, of course, Keller is a suburban city there, and just outside outside of the Dallas Fort Worth metroplex. But I mean, it's only got like 30,000 people in it. You know, to get beat down or to get put in a position, I didn't say beat down, I mean get sprayed in the face with mace. I mean, that's pretty rough. If people had never been sprayed with mace before, they need to get them some. Anyway, and they didn't spray him once. Damn it, they sprayed him twice.
That's right.
So I mean, and you know, look, there was so much wrong about that video and so much wrong about that it's hard to make comment about everything that's in that video. Number one, I'm going to say, guys, it's okay if you roll up your window. It really is okay. I mean, if you want to roll your window up, you own the car, regardless if you're stopping or not, you can roll up your window. I mean, so does this mean, Mr. Officer, that every time it rains and you pull me over that, you know, that I can't roll my window? No, I mean, listen, guys, you own the vehicle. It's okay. I mean, I think he took the opportunity there. The guy was young and he throwed it right in on him. So,
well, the irony of the whole video is the officer. The officer is stunned that the guy in the car is like, I'm trying to protect it's for my protection. When at the end of the video, they need protection from the police officers.
exactly.
Exactly. No protection. Why would you do that? Oh, I'm going to go take down this beast of a man and spray him repeatedly in the face. That's why he's rolling the window up. And so, here's the thing with all these stories, Greg.
Look, they could have just went across the road and patted that guy down and left him there doing his business.
Yeah.
I mean, look, even patting him down would have been too much because he didn't do anything.
Anything wrong. Right.
But exactly. But just to make the other arresting officer to feel better, the other officer could have patted him down and say, yeah, he's clear. So what are you worried about,
Yeah. So
what are you worried about?
Here's my thing with these stories. I take them case by case. Because it seems like in today's society, you either had to pound the cops, you had to pound the person arrested. I take them case by case because that's the best way to do it. In this case, when people say, "Oh, well, there's a few bad apples," okay, if there's a few bad apples, then this is easy. The Keller Police Department comes out and says, "This is disgusting, it's despicable," and just so we're clear. You know how those guys get arrested and like the only way you could take me is if you had me in cuffs? I'm guessing this is one of those situations because they couldn't take the man 2-on-1. So the cops need to come out and they need to fire these people and get them off the force and go about
the guy was demoted and had 2 other counts of excessive force against him. I mean, and this is the problem. That's the problem.
So if this is obvious to anyone who watches it, the cops are in the wrong here. Now, there's plenty of times I think the cops are in the right, but I
do.
And so why not come out and say, listen, there's no reason for this. This is a fireable offense. If this were me, if I did that to a cop, what would happen? If the roles were reversed and there's one cop there.
It depends on where you're at. The body cam comes off in some places. So,
but I'm saying, no, seriously. If a cop standing on the sidewalk and you're walking down, we go, hey, bud, hey, put that camera up, dude. And we go over there, we take the cop, and we take him down and pepper spray him because he's threatening us. What would happen? Okay, he'd probably
go to jail.
His buddies would shoot us. So this is the problem.
And then you get beat down in lockup. So I mean,
that's exactly right. So the next time we have a video comes up and the police are taking the raw on the stick, I'm gonna take the police side. It's about fairness. It's about justice. And what makes, and this is what I was saying, I think on the tweet is that cops, if you want people to back you, to support you, then you have to take a hard stance on this. This is a no-brainer. There are some that I'm torn. I'm like, I don't know who's right and wrong here. This is easy. Take the stance and quit trying to protect your own because that's what loses trust with the public. That's why they just roll the window up because you are the problem.
Exactly. I mean, and I agree with Jose here. I think there should be, they should be penalized and it should come out of their pay. Now, not just a demotion, because the way these demotions work and the way these things happen with some of these government and state positions is they don't lose any pay. They just lose seniority. They don't lose pay. That's not the way this works. They don't, the longer you're with you're with the office or with whatever group that you are, the reason you're at that certain level is because there's different pay points for each level. And you get to that level they don't ever take the pay away from you. They just take the seniority away. That's all. It's not for me, Ryan, I grew up in a small town, and there was many times I could have been probably in worse trouble than I had, doing the things that we've done or that I did personally. Again, it goes back to that detained conversation we'll have on another overtime. But the main thing I was going to say there, or just kind of highlight there, is that the officers knew that, when you're in a place that's a bit smaller, that they basically knew your mom and dad, and they had to look at your mom and dad in the face. So if there was a situation that happened and they didn't do their utmost best, in that situation or try to take care of you or anyone else in that situation, they had to answer to the parents.
Yeah.
And a lot of them went to church with the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're having to stand in there and you're in a room full of people, and they all know you, they all know your kids, they all know your family, that's a lot of pressure there.
That is right.
So it a lot of times that pressure makes you act right, man. It makes you get right.
Yeah, I think Jose's point here is dead on, which is the officers just go to the next town over and find a job, and I think that's the hard thing. So, is that
I mean, maybe one day they'll put a bad officer app out there like the sex offender app, and you can pin these bad officers when they're around.
No, all seriousness. Let's go back to JJ Watt. What we need is a JJ Watt video. from a high respected police officer coming out saying, "Listen, if you can't," and then just let him rail because that's.
Oh, you mean Sylvester wouldn't be enough? Or?
No. Respected.
Oh. We moving on?
I'm ready.
Well, Ryan, we talk about fast food a bit here. I know you like Burger King, so we do talk about it a little bit on Overtime. So, but can you imagine what it would have been like grabbing something to go in Pompeii in 79 AD?
Yeah, that's a bad day at the office.
So the archaeologists have uncovered a fast food joint in the ashes of Pompeii, man. So I was lucky enough that I was able to visit Pompeii. So
really,
and the wife and I did. Yeah. What's that?
Right before it burned.
Yeah. I mean, it was a bit dusty, but I mean, it was. I wore, but I had the right mask on, so I was okay. I was protected from the lava. Anyway, I was lucky enough to have gone, and got to see the place. And this is obviously in a spot that was still covered up at the time, and they were working on it. But I did see this kind of setup. Now, this is larger than the one we actually saw. So if you take this area right here, it was kind of like out on the street side. So it only had like 3 of the clay pots.
Yeah.
On the street side. But the if you ever get a chance to go, if you're ever in that part of the world, you need to go, because there's some funny things about Pompeii. I know it's been covered up with ash and everybody died, but there's some funny things about Pompeii, and there's some really interesting things about Pompeii too. I mean, when you talk about the world of prostitution and the world of sex, there's Pompeii. There was stuff in Pompeii that was, that indicated that there was plenty of that happening back in the day in Pompeii. So there's all kind of signs and street corners and different things with emblems on the rocks and the streets. And look. You just need to go check it out at least once. That's all.
Hey, Greg, in all seriousness, I would love nothing more than to travel the world and to write about what is going on in places and then to interview people. So maybe one day. We all have dreams. There we go. I would love to go to places like that and to spend weeks there and cover what's going on in, not
flights are cheap right now.
So, I gotta get that stupid vaccine though.
Hey man.
Yeah, thanks
Jose for coming by.
We back next week at 10 o'clock.
Absolutely. We will be here. Have a happy new year as well.
And you can download the podcast as well. So
yeah, definitely go jump on there and hit that subscribe button and download the podcast too. Ryan beat me to it. Anyway, this terracotta jar, or jars plural, still had some food in it. What do you think was in there, man?
I'm gonna say snake, like a rice tree snake, like a cobra over a little bit of rice.
Well, I'm thinking here it's probably going to be chicken, maybe horse. Not sure. I think that's fish, but I mean it's right there. It was right there on the coast, so it was well, it's not it's not anymore. it's I think it's probably about 4 or 5 miles from the coast now, but you can see the coast from Pompeii now, but you used to be at the coast.
Yeah, it used to be beachfront property.
But I'm telling you though, if you don't know the history about Pompeii, then I mean everybody obviously knows it was covered up by ash, but there's more history with Pompeii and the different things that happened there. But there's a courtyard at the very kind of northerly part of the city, that kind of where everybody came to. It's like a bar on a Saturday night, right? But I mean, if you had been in that courtyard and you could see the volcano plain as day from there, and the chunk that's missing out of it.
Oh wow!
So if you had been in that courtyard and saw that volcano go off while you're sitting in the courtyard, you could just imagine your thoughts. Just especially your kids. I mean, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about like running for. I mean, that's why they found so many people in the water near the boats.
Right?
Trying to get on the boats to get away. But anyway, I think it's interesting. I think we should embrace history. We should know about history. So
I agree.
They did have some.
I think it's Cobra.
You think it's Cobra?
Cobra over a little bit of rice, slow cooked, medium rare. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I can't do the snake and rice, man. Just give me the rice. keep the Cobra. I have eaten some strange things in some parts of the world, man. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you just got to get on with it.
I know the feeling. Not well. Yeah. You're more well traveled than me, but we're in China.
Make a drive by EG any time of the year, and you can see what they have to sell.
Yeah, so. we're in China, and we're as you know, the custom there, they bring out food upon food upon food, and they bring out this fish thing. It looks like an eel.
By the way, Tom, no, there was no Twinkies in there.
It was a ding dong. They bring out this fish thing, and it was covered in this black sauce, and it still had the head and the tail. And man, I tell you what, that was some of the nastiest fish I've ever had in my life. But
That's brutal. That's brutal.
It looked disgusting, and it was disgusting. So now I've had some.
So that's probably eel sauce.
Yeah,
that's what that black stuff is. It's caught me multiple times. I'm like, is this soy sauce? Oh, nice.
No.
So
I wish it was a Twinkie.
So, you ready to go to this next one?
Oh boy.
So Ryan, other than Christmas Day, I did grab me some turkey. There was some turkey in the buffet down there, but so much to eat, and I also had to forcefully go and get a HBO Max subscription. So now, since I got the HBO,
did you say you went and got a Speedo Max subscription? I could have swore you just said I got a Speedo Max subscription. I don't know what that is.
Actually, no. I mean, first off, Speedo is like North Face. Nothing fits me.
That's what I was curious. I was like, I want to bring it up.
No, I mean, I appreciate you thinking about my nether region, so Ryan.
I'm just wondering why you need
and the support for my nether region.
Max, like it's the big brand. You got a subscription. I could have swore if someone's heard it, maybe it's just me. I could have swore you said Speedo Max subscription. I was like, I don't know what that is. I thought about what Max. Of course, okay. Anyways, go ahead.
I mean, I may need a Speedo Max one day.
I got a Speedo shirt, one of those swimming shirts you can have. We did a polar plunge last year, and I told everyone I was going to wear a Speedo, and so I bought the shirt, and they're like, "Oh, well, okay." I was like, "It's Speedo. It is technically Speedo."
But I mean, I guess that's why you got you have a Disney Plus subscription, right?
Yeah.
I mean, although it doesn't have Max, I mean, you had that. It does say Plus, so I mean that's 7 seasons of the Clone Wars. So,
yeah, here it comes. I've been waiting for this for 1 hour and 28 minutes and 23 seconds. Been waiting for it.
Now, I did get the HBO Max subscription. So HBO Max.
HBO, not Speedo.
Home box office Max. But since then, I've got into Westworld. So I'm watching the 3 seasons of that. It's 2016 started in 2016. It's got Anthony Hopkins in it. If you have never seen an episode of Westworld and you do like science fiction and you do like things that make you think about the future, then you need to go check out Westworld. Anyway, I'll let you go here first, Ryan.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Wonder Woman 84
or the first one.
So
I know when you listen here.
You've never seen either one.
So, oh God, when you said this yesterday, here was my thought. I could ask him to redact it from the show. If I do that, he will then ask me why. And then I'll have to explain to him that I have not watched either Wonder Woman. No reason. I just haven't done it. He will then ask me, do you have an HBO Max subscription? To which I will say, yes, I do. So then he will say, you literally have no reason not to watch it. And I will say, maybe not really. And then he will say, I bet you've been watching 7 seasons of Clone Wars. So we could have had that conversation offline. Okay. But then I wouldn't have known how you would have attacked me with it online. So I just thought, you know what? I'm going to be the open book here. And yes, last night I did watch a movie. I didn't watch Wonder Woman. I watched episodes 5 and 6 of Star Wars. I'm a nerd, man. I'm a nerd. I'm sorry.
Then why haven't you watched Westworld?
Oh, I haven't watched anything on my HBO Max subscription. I got it with my phone plan. Updated to get the hotspot.
Bro, it's $15 a month. What are you talking about? You're not watching anything on it.
I literally have not turned it on, I don't think, one time.
I used to burn Netflix up at $4.99 and $9.99, and now burning it up at $14.99.
Oh, I watch subscriptions. I just got too many stupid subscriptions. So so yes, I have not seen
the only place this was playing was on HBO Max, man, on Christmas Day. It was the only damn place, right?
You know what was playing? Clone Wars, okay, on Disney Plus. So leave me alone.
There's actually a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff playing, but I mean, okay. So for people that have watched it or have not watched it, I'll go ahead and make comments about it. So my thoughts. I've been a fan. Wonder Woman. I mean, obviously it was kind of tapering off whenever we were growing up. The Wonder Woman series, that is. But there was plenty of things to replace it. Out, Miami Vice out, all these different things were coming out that, although we were all comic book fans and superhero fans, there was plenty enough things on TV whenever we were growing up to kind of put things in perspective for us. So Wonder Woman and the old Superman, those guys. So anyway, but when the first one came out in 2017, I was like, okay, that was great. All right. So there's no way that you ever be able to beat, island full of just rogue women that are beasts. So at the end of the day, no, you can't, man. There's no way you can beat a story like that of the women from the Amazon.
I've never seen it. I don't know.
No way. The only thing's better is the original 300, but I mean, it got crap review too. But I mean, still, those guys were beast mode. But anyway, people were dogging the shit out of this movie, right? I mean, they're saying obviously it wasn't, as good as the first one, but I mean, I think it was as good as the first one. Now,
really? You like it?
I liked it, and I liked it because there was a few different reasons I liked it. Number one, I liked it because I'm a fan of Gail's, right? So she fits the role perfectly. Her acting is, not subpar acting. She does an excellent job. But the reason I liked it is because they stayed with the storyline. They didn't deviate from the storyline. I mean, and who actually sets a movie for a follow-up movie to a 2017 movie in 1984? Who does that?
Right.
So originally, whenever they pitched the idea, I was like, this is going to bomb. There's no way this is going to bomb. Now, I mean, it is the lowest grossing movie, I think, obviously, of the two, but it's going to be. But the ability for people to watch it is greatly affected at the moment. But go get you an HBO Max subscription, not a Speedo Max subscription, and watch Wonder Woman 1984, Wonder Woman 84. But I mean, I know everyone's not a big fan of getting these subscriptions, but I mean, I'm like you, Ryan. I probably have more than the average person. But it's a cheap way to watch a good flick. I mean, you don't have to pay $8 per person. You pay that 1 month subscription, and you're in there. In there, you get a good movie, a decent movie. It's not Suicide Squad. It's Wonder Woman 84.
I hadn't seen that one either.
Well, you haven't seen much of DC, have you?
I've seen I saw the Batman.
Have you seen Avengers Endgame?
Yes.
I'm just checking.
It was okay. I mean, that was a disappointment.
Maybe the next thing that I put up on our rundown, I'm going to turn you into Thanos. And
I know we're over. Overtime is over time.
Definitely.
So I know we're gonna go here, but I was a little disappointed in you, Greg. To be honest with you, a little disappointed.
Why is that?
Of all the things that you mentioned, you did not put in the passing of Marianne Don Wells from Gilligan Island.
It just happened yesterday. So
I mean,
I know.
She did. Yes, you're
I know.
right.
Yeah. I do apologize for this one. I mean, I got the when I woke up this morning, bright and early, 5:31 a.m. The tweet was up there about Marianne. So to Marianne's family, she was a wonderful actor. Even I watched it whenever I was coming up. So I mean, I enjoyed a lot of different stuff.
I literally have no idea of what she played than Marianne. Like I may have seen her in something. I have no idea, but I didn't see
Island.
No, I'm saying beyond Gilligan's Island. I don't know what else she's been in. I don't know.
I don't either.
So.
I don't either. But I mean, I watched every single one of Gilligan's Island, just like I watched every single one of.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I don't think I ever saw the season the show finales. I need to go watch that. But I've watched a bunch of Gilligan's Island. So
Fantasy Island is the one, man.
R.I.P. to Marianne and the skipper and
Gilligan, Marianne,
all of them. So
we're running out of people on the island.
Wait! That was a really bummer way to end the show as we go.
It was.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
But that's okay. But I am gonna. But it's okay. I am gonna mention one more thing. While you have the HBO Max subscription, go watch the reunion of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, I did see that. I need to watch that.
So if you haven't seen it, it puts a lot of stuff in perspective from their first couple of years of production. I think Will has to come out and own up to a few bad decisions that he made for some of the other members of the cast. So
okay,
it's basically a coming home thing for Will Smith, and I think if you enjoy those family TV touching moments, then that's one of them that'll get you right there. I enjoyed it. So
all right, I'll go watch that.
It won't disappoint.
And for folks who are kind of new to pop culture, there's a series called Star Wars. There's 9 of them, so go check it out, and might find some entertainment this weekend. So
there's also 7 seasons of the Clone Wars. That,
7 seasons of the Clone
Wars that were spurred by a multiverse of different Star Wars things. That and I think they even have some C-3PO and R2-D2 side missions. Right?
I hate you so bad.
I was just wanting you to elaborate on whatever the side mission.
Here's Ben Samuel. This was earlier this week. I turned on Clone Wars last night. Made it about 10 minutes before I had to turn it off.
He made it 9 minutes and 55 seconds more than me.
I gotta go, Greg. I gotta go. I can't take this abuse anymore.
Everyone, this is Overtime. This is Greg with Rig Links.
That's Ryan. Safe out there.
War Room Media. And that's a wrap.
Have a good
Happy
one.
New Year's.
New Year's.
45 minutes away. Boom.
You've been watching Overtime, a live series brought to you by Rig Links and War Room Media. Your hosts have been Greg Williams and Ryan Ray. For sponsorship opportunities, send us an email at info@riglinks.com. Tune in next Thursday at 10 a.m. CST for another live episode.